A story about friends, vegetables, and hidden agendas.
Brian, Zachary Mayer, I help the spiritual but not religious.
There's a chance this spiritual religious thing is not what you think.
You get to choose who you are in this world, and that's enough, and that's awesome.
The less you believe everything you think, the better.
I'm ready, you're ready, let's dive in.
Silence hung in the air for a moment after Todd spoke. Almost haphazardly, softly, mainly to myself, I reiterated the last words he said. Sue and Brian brought over their own vegetables. The phrase fell out of my mouth as I moved some dishes into the sink. Reflexively, and in the next moment, I added the all-too-common question word. Right? I mean, they did, Todd volleyed back. He brought back to life what might have been an otherwise finished conversation. They fucking brought their own vegetables, I said again. Sue and Brian brought over their own fucking vegetables. It's like they knew we wouldn't be it's like they knew we would be comfortable with that. Like, how cool are they? Like, I need to cut vegetables and I want to visit. I'm sure they wouldn't mind. I'll just cut my own vegetables there. Allow me to share a little of the backstory behind the moment. I was visiting Todd near Denver. Sue and Brian, mutual friends, more mine than theirs, drove over after work and after dinner. And while sitting at the table chit-chatting before a few rounds of a card game, Sue and I peeled and cut veggies for her next day's crock pot. After they left, Todd and I were talking about how cool Sue and Brian were. I believe the formal proof of how cool Sue and Brian are goes like this. Formal proof of how cool Sue and Brian are. Hypothesis. Sue and Brian are worthy of our mutual admiration. Statement. Sue and Brian brought their own vegetables to prep. QED. Quo era demonstratum. Sue and Brian are worthy of our mutual admiration. Because really, who besides the coolest of people bring over their own vegetables to prep? H is for Hintergedanken. Hintergedanken is a fabulous German word. Hintergedanken means a thought held at the very far back reaches of our thinking, and I have a Hintergedanken about this proof of coolness. The compound word, made of two German Yiddish cognates, means a hidden agenda or an ulterior motive. The etymology looks like this. Hinter, far from here, as in way away in the hinterlands, usually said while gesticulating yonder with two sweeping motions of the downsized turned wrist. Gedanken, thought, as in was have ihr Gedanken? What have you been thinking? Said with optional portions of love and interest. I do not have a Hintergedanken that my grandfathers did or did not use this word. About that I lack certainty, and I am only a little curious. A Hintergedanken is something much more covert, like knowing that you secretly know why you are showing up late to a job you claim to love. My Hintergedanken about Sue and Brian and the vegetables, in their bringing them, was that bringing the veggies to prep doesn't make them cool. I think they are cool, and therefore their action is charming. Thoughts determine reality more than would be convenient. If you dislike someone, the way they hold their spoon will offend you, but if you like them, they could drop a plate of food in your lap and you wouldn't mind. Oscar Wilde attributed. Maybe the fact that they brought their own vegetables isn't proof that they're cool. If they were just people who annoyed me, I'm certain that after they left, snark might have been made. Can you believe those assholes? They thought it was okay to bring their vegetables to cut at someone else's house? Do they go to other people's homes to fold their laundry? Those idiots didn't even bring a cutting board. Honey, don't forget on our visit tonight we need to pack 6-gallon Ziplocs, 4 quarts, peelers, knives, bags of veggies. Am I possibly forgetting anything? Maybe they are cool or not cool based on what I think of them. The Hintergedanken is this: what I like or am annoyed by is not rooted in the external world as much as it is on my internal state. My internal bias colors my present experience. Let's conveniently overlook this again and pretend we don't have agency over our own experience of reality. My mind controls how obnoxious people are? Oh, I do have another example of this. The other day I posted to Facebook a message about me having a hard time. I asked people not to contact me unless they were members of my immediate inner circle, those with whom I share my private life. And approximately 6 people ignored this limiting request. I had 2 opposite thoughts about these boundary violators. Person type A, how dare they? Person type B, isn't that so lovely that they would contact me anyway? The same exact action sparked 2 different reactions within me. Person A texted, and I thought, that's so annoying, how dare they? And of course, only someone like them would think it's okay to violate my request. Person B texted, and I thought, that's so delightful, how sweet are they? Of course, someone like them knows it's okay to text. Well, how can this be? The only explanation is that the distinction is in my head. Let's shed some light on this Hintergedanken. Let us acknowledge that we have become practiced in the unconscious habit of judging before we see evidence. Let us restate our belief that we have agency over our own experience of reality. And let us seek out more excellent people like Sue and Brian who bring vegetables over to prep. I'm Rabbi Brian of Religion Outside the Box. Make sure you subscribe and rotb.org. Find out more about the excellent program Religion Outside the Box has that will help reasonable people like yourself with regard to becoming a spiritual Jedi Master. Not really so sure about that last phrasing.